United Kingdom, flag bearer Joanne McCullough.
Yeah, it's time to do the Day 2 update show. Welcome to the second of the series of the CrossFit Games update videos. Myself today, I've been doing parkrun this morning, first thing this morning, but it was nice and cool here in the UK, and managed a PB. Great stuff. Then went paddleboarding and got this skin complexion. So yeah, can't filter it out, it's too red.
With a whisky face sunburn?
Don't know if anybody else has noticed this. I went onto the YouTube channel for the CrossFit Games and tried to look up yesterday's live stream, the day 1 live stream, and it's not there. I think what's happened is I had a tab open still on my browser so I can actually go and view the video, and the video is still there, but it's been blocked through copyright infringement for the Warner Music Group. So I'm not sure what's going on there, whether that was background music or something that CrossFit hadn't taken care of somewhere along the way and hadn't licensed it or something. But I can see they're trying to rectify now because they're releasing individual videos of all of the individual workouts, but not the live stream video. So normally the live stream video for the whole day is available, but not the case for the day 1. So as you can see, I was just watching the opening ceremony. It's great for the athletes, I suppose, because it's a bit of a sense of occasion. They get to see on the TV back at home. They get to do the selfies and things like that. Just a bit unusual when you see all the athletes coming out waving the flags for their country, and then you see Roman Krennikov come out waving the CrossFit flag. And I know the reason why, obviously because of the Ukraine-Russia war, etc. It's just a bit unusual. Well, the best thing I can say at the moment, having seen day 1 and day 2 now, is you don't really know who's going to win. Obviously, in the past with Tia and Fraser, it's been sort of by the end of like day 1 into day 2, it's Fraser and it's Tia. And you almost know that that's it from that point forward. They're just going to dominate, be wearing the white jersey all the way through. That's not been the case this year. So far, Tia is now sitting, I think, in 3rd place, and that's a good recovery from what position he's been in. And Justin Medeiros isn't at number 1 for various reasons for performances, but Ricky Garrard is. I'm not sure where that sits with me. I know, obviously, he got busted. I think wasn't the actual fact that he got busted. I know it happens in every sport basically, but it was just the fact of how he sat and lied to the camera and actually got busted that way, and was talking about how he could never look his father in the face, or his coach, or whatever it was, in the face, if he'd ever done anything like that. And obviously he was doing it at the time. No, he's been busted. He's served his time. It just doesn't sit that well with me that the fact. I mean, what would happen if? It'll be an unusual situation, let's say, if at the end of the games, Ricky Garrard is number 1, Roman Krennikov is number 2, and whoever's on number 3, if you see my point. A friend of mine's over in Madison at the moment, volunteering for the event, for the games, and keeps posting really good things on his story and amazing footage of being close up to the athletes within literally touching distance, although you're not allowed to touch them, apparently. It's in the rules.
There's no touching me. Don't touch me. Please don't touch me.
Okay, the first and only event today is the rescheduled event from yesterday, the Shuttle To Overhead event. There's only going to be one event today because it was supposed to be an actual rest day for the athletes, but because of the thunderstorm yesterday, they had to reschedule event number 2. And so that's taking place today. So it's a 2-part event, so there's 200 points to be available here. The first part of the event is a run, or I'll rephrase that. It's a 2-part event, but they're combined at the same time. So it's basically a series of runs, increasing in distance over time. The first one being, I think it was a 400-meter run, then a lift section, then a 600-meter run, then a lift, and then an 800-meter run, then a lift. So there's quite a lot of distance there they're covering. It wasn't a single run or a circuit, it was laps, backwards and forwards, and with a turn, just to complicate things, obviously, because they're not just they can't just get into a pace. They've got to get down, turn around, come back again. So that was interesting for the athletes as well. And then the second part of each event, if you like, was they went up to sort of jerk blocks, like a big rogue frame thing that's like a jerk block, and they were doing shoulders over heads. So their legs were a bit shot from the run, and the first rep was always a bit iffy because they come into it cold effectively and having to do the lift. So it was interesting, and basically I think it was over a short period of time they had Also, obviously, the quicker they were on the run, the more chance and more lifts they got on the shoulder to overhead section. The points were split, so you had 100 points for the fastest cumulative runs. So they take the fastest time for all 3 runs added together, and that person got the event win for that event. And then the number of reps for the lifts as well. It was a fixed weight, so you couldn't add more weight or anything. It was just how many lifts you could do in the time allocated. So in the first heat, Gabby Magala was the fastest runner, and Amanda Barnard was the person with the most lifts. So that went straight into heat 2. So in the second heat, Hayley, obviously a good runner, she went out quite hot and was winning all of the runs. But overall, at the end of the 3 runs, I think Hayley did win the run section. So she got the 100 points for the run. But I think Tia was only marginally behind her by about 9 or 10 seconds over the 3 runs. So even though she wasn't winning on that, she did beat her in the lifts. Tia came top of the lifts. She did, what did she do? She did push press as well. So all the lifts, quite a few of the athletes were starting off on push press, but then straight away into some sort of split jerk or something like that. Tia stayed on push press throughout, marginally quicker, so she did accumulate reps faster. I don't think she got a single no rep. And she ended up doing 18 reps in the end, which was 3 more reps than the next nearest athlete, which was Daniel Brandon. Mal O'Brien, quite impressive, came 3rd, even though she's quite a small athlete. So and that's 3rd in the lifts section. So that was quite impressive. So in the men's event, heat 1, Saxon Panchik went off like a shot. He won the run, and he also won the shoulder to overhead section as well. So he did really well on that section there. So in the final heat for the men, Ricky Garrard went out and he won the 400 metre run. Then, as soon as they got to the shoulder overhead section, what surprised me quite a lot in this event was Vellner's quite good normally at this sort of event, and he was awful. There was loads of problems with his shoulder to overhead, and he kept buckling and not being able to lock out his left arm. So on the very first section of shoulder to overheads, he got a no rep straight away. No rep! And then Upanix was on the next run, and basically what his tactic was, I think he said in one of the post-race interviews or post-event interviews that he did the 400 metre run, and he didn't win the 400 metre run. That was Ricky Garrard, but he went out, did a good pace, came into the shoulder to overhead section, and then realised he was going to get loads of no reps and he wasn't going to get anywhere on that part of the event. So I've decided instead he'd go balls out on the runs and try and win the run part of the event and get the points that way, and that's what he did. So way ahead of the pack on the 600 metre and on the 800 metre run. So Upanex got the event win for the run. So he came in after the 600 metre run, and again, Vellner and this time Medeiros as well, both got no reps on their first rep. Vellner still had loads of problems. He got a few more no reps. No rep! As well, just couldn't lock out that one arm. So I'm not sure whether that's an issue or whether it's a grievance from a previous event or, he's actually got an injury of some description he hasn't spoken about. The 800 metre run, similar sort of process again. Upanex came in first. Garrard was 2nd or 3rd normally and would pump in the reps. And Vellner would get more no reps. The final event results, I think in the end, Upanex obviously got the event win for the run, and Jeffrey Adler did more reps on the shoulder to overhead in the end. He's very strong, is Jeffrey Adler, and he's always had that never say never mentality about pushing for a rep. And yeah, he managed to beat everybody in the shoulder to overhead section. So Adler got the event win on the male side for the shoulder to overhead section, and Upanex got the win on the run. Because Vellner had so many issues with locking out, he didn't actually get a very good result at all in this event. And I think he actually came mid-30th in the end for the lifting part of the event. His runs weren't too bad, but his lifting was horrendous. So that was the only event that they did today for the individuals. So now on to the teams. So the teams had Strong and Fast, which was the name of the workout today. So Again, it was a one workout that followed straight onto another workout. So there was sort of like a two-part event, if you like. But again, 200 points was available for both events. So 100 points for the first section, which was the event that was called Strong, and then 100 points available for the one that was called Fast. So in the Strong event, basically the team was split up. It was a bit complicated. They'd actually got basically lines of athletes and then another line of athletes in front of them. And you had your male athletes and your female athletes, and what they did was you did your maximum weight jerk off the blocks or off these like strange structures that had these rogue structures, and then you did your maximum front squat off the blocks as well. And obviously your two females' weights were added together, your two males' weights were added together, and that gave you a combined weight. There was a great comment from one of the presenters on the YouTube channel footage saying basically the athletes have now got to think about what they know they can lift, what they think they can lift, and what they hope they can lift. And that's basically how it all played out. The coverage was okay. The only problem was if you imagine the line of athletes there and another line of athletes behind them, and the camera at the front, sort of randomly pointing in the middle of 4 or 5 athletes, you could see one athlete really well at the front, you could see the second athlete fairly well, and then behind you could maybe see part of another athlete and part of another one, but you couldn't really see what weight they were lifting, you couldn't really see the lifts. And all you could hear was every now and then the presenter would say, oh yeah, that was, Annie's just done really well behind, but you could only just about see Annie. And so it was a bit of annoying that they didn't have some way of controlling the footage so you could actually see every lift, which they've done in previous events like this, where they like have a lift, then the next person has a lift, then the next person consecutively, but they didn't do it like that. There was 4 people, I think, having a lift at the same time all the time. The results for that event were Milford CrossFit came in with 13.25 lift. CrossFit Invictus had 13.15 and Mayhem Freedom 1300. I was expecting CrossFit Reykjavik to do well in this because Morikino's a strong man, but they only came in 4th, I think, in the end. So as soon as they finished that event, they went straight into the next event, which was the Fast event. And so basically all 4 members of the team with a rope held between them went off and did a 1600 metre run, basically one big loop outside, and came back in again. Once they finished that, 2 people peeled off and rested while the other 2 went off and did another 1600 metres. And when they came back, they handed the rope over to the 2 that were rested, and they would do a final 1600 metres, and then they'd all sprint across the line. From Reykjavik, it was Khan and Lauren who did the middle run, and Mayhem sent out Froning and Sam Cornier. Oslo Navy Blue sent out both their men as well on the middle one. In the end, Oslo Navy Blue took the event win, Selwyn took 2nd, and Reykjavik took 3rd, followed by 8th day. So not a good event really for CrossFit Mayhem. One of the rare events they're not winning. So at the end of the 2nd day, the leaderboard for the women is looking like this. Tia steadily climbing the leaderboard and has now recovered back to 3rd so far. So that's looking impressive, and if Tia's anything to go by, she'll be in number 1 within the next couple of days. And the 2 team phenoms, Mal and Emma, were in 1st and 2nd place respectively. Is this going to be the year that Tia doesn't dominate? I don't think so. I think these events didn't suit her, and we're going to see Tia wearing the white jersey any moment soon. On to the men's leaderboard. After a good first day, Ricky has now added to his lead, and he's now solidly in 1st position, followed closely by Medeiros, and then just another 14 points back is Krenikov, which is impressive in his rookie season effectively. Finally onto the team leaderboard. May and Frieden are coming back strong, still not wearing the white jerseys just yet, but imminent. Only 12 points between 1st and 3rd, so at present it's anyone's battle. And the much talked about Reykjavik did a little better today and now sit in 5th. On to day 3.